Hello everyone, today I'm going to be unboxing a load of Critical Role minis and swirling them around so you can have a good look at these. Now there are these two boxes which are the Monsters of Wildemount. They are just nicely named 1 and 2, so I'll be going through those separately so you can see what's in what box, but talking about them just as a whole. And then the Udaak, which I think I'm pronouncing right. But as you'll find out, I don't know too much about Critical Role, but I do enjoy some good minis, considering the size of this. Let's start with box number 1. So let's slide that one off. That's number 2. So let's jump in with this one. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 figures. And after we've taken some cable ties off so we can actually get in, let's start having a look. Let's have a look at this front row. I'm trying to be careful to pop these ones out. So first of all, we have a husk zombie. Now, if you've seen, I've recently unboxed a load of boneyard miniatures, so this just works fine with that. To be entirely honest, not knowing the difference between a husk zombie and a normal zombie, that, coming at players, is just a normal zombie. Next up, we do have something that does look pretty unique. Oh, this is hard to get into without sort of damaging things. This is a core spawn emissary. I mean, it looks very insecty. I love the fact that the wings are just transparenty. They're kind of, they're not perfectly clear, but they do have that transparent look. It really looks like something that could come at you in like the Feywild adventure that just came out, the Witchlight one. So, you know, could potentially be using it there. Like I say, I do not really know anything about Critical Role, so I'm talking fully from a how am I going to use these in a non-Critical Role way. I know you can get obviously the books and stuff and then run their sort of part of the universe. This is a core spawn seer, so that was the core spawn emissary, so there's clearly some links there. Again, quite an insecty character, lots of legs. What's that? A good 8 legs and a couple of like feely bits before it. So very spidery vibe at the bottom, and then you've got this sort of mysterious flowing cloak, a very sort of naturey vibed staff, and again, nice use of some of the transparent plastic on the spell here just to give that a little extra touch. So next up we have something that looks pretty vicious and that just doesn't want to come out of the plastic. That was easier said than done. This is a core spawn crawler. So again, it's got a very animally vibe. Very much like a spider's face with the fangs coming at you, but very different sort of for the rest of it. Got a very snaky body with only like 4 legs or limbs. So kind of a bit of a hybrid. Again, if you've got a pack of spiders and this thing in the middle, maybe this is just a buffed up spider that you're throwing at people. And, you know, you could use that just in any D&D. This is where colours start to go a little funky. So we have a Aryan Absorber. I mean, it looks almost ridiculous in colour scheme. I'm sure there was a fantastic plot line that involved this in the Critical Role series. Big, huge eyeball thing coming out of its tail, but it looks like it's kind of got eyes as well. So I don't know quite what's going on there. Maybe that's where it does this absorbing thing. If you're just wanting to throw something at it, at players, you know, that's not just a wolf or something, yeah, you could probably get away with using that and modifying some kind of wolf with weirdness stat block. Next up we have a Shadowghast, which, to be honest, apart from being much taller, I'd say, actually, I think I've got a ghast over here somewhere. I did. I've got a ghast over here somewhere, so if I just reach for it, there we go. This is a ghast in the Boneyard set, so it is definitely taller. It's almost like from a normal human to a Goliath, along that sort of line higher, but they are supposed to be ghasts. Obviously this is a shadow one. Cool effect of steamy fogginess coming off the top of it. The tongue looks even longer and more weird than the normal ghast. But again, it's a ghast. You could use that without any problem. Now we're getting into some more, basically, not always bigger is better, but in this case, it's more fun to look at. So we have got the Aryan Nullifier. So they're clearly paired up in some way. And to be honest, this looks absolutely epic. It's got so many mouths and so many like tongue things coming out of it. And these huge hands, like that hand is the size of a torso, if not more. You know, its hand is almost the same size as a halfling. I think that is absolutely epic. And nice details on that. And to be honest, when you get miniatures like this, yes, you can see some of the, when they get bigger like this, you can see some of the lines where they're put together, but they're not too drastically obvious. You can see them when you're looking, but when that's across the table, you're not going to notice. So many mouths. I'm going to save that big one till last. This is the Aryan Reverser, which it looks a little bit like a watermelon, if I'm going to be honest. It's got sort of the green and black pattern and sort of a pinky red underneath, like a watermelon slice. But again, this fists the size of a halfling, or maybe half a halfling, a quarterling. You know, that's going to probably wallop you down quite a lot. It just looks visually a bit odd, a bit out of place for a lot of normal D&D. Maybe you could get away with that in the Feywild scenario where beasts and things may have touches of Fey, which, you know, maybe makes them smell like cookies or something. You know, you get these amazing little quirks that you can get with Fey marks, and maybe it's turned what is a normal evil sort of smashy thing into a Green Hulk watermelon version. Again, there's probably a critical role meaning for that, but it looks odd to me. Here we have Nergalid. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what this is, but it looks awesome. It's like a giant toady thing with some clear, transparent, magic-y stuff going on. It's got these little spikes all over it. The eyebrowy crown-like thing on its head is spiky. It's got these huge hands. It's kind of scaly and awesome. It's got a nice purple cloak, or not cloak, but to hide his furniture downstairs. That's nice and flowing. All in all, I'm not sure if you could make that a big bad guy, or you could probably get away. It's not too evil looking. You could maybe get away with that being on your side. That could be an interesting twist. Very cool miniature. That, apart from the usability of like the ghasts and the skeleton and some of the other bits that you could use as like a spider or whatever, this is what you're buying the set for. That is a very nice miniature. Again, it's a large, so it's fairly big. And well, that is box one. That's pretty nice. So let's jump into the Wildemount box 2, Monsters of Wildemount box. And let's start off again with the little small guy first. So we have got a long name, Sugrin, Warlock of Udaak otter. Looks a bit like a fish folk, a merfolky sort of shenanigans going on there. How would you use this in a regular D&D? Well, maybe if you've got some piratey areas, you go over to the dock, maybe this could come out of the water. Maybe there's something bigger scaring them out of the water, or maybe they're coming in to loot the town, and maybe they'd followed a ship that had maybe displeased them. No idea otherwise. And there's only one, so it makes it quite hard to use on its own. But maybe if you're a Critical Role watcher, I'm sure if you're a Critical Role watcher, most of this will make more sense of what they are. This is a Moor Bounder. Now this looks like a cross between quite a nice friendly cat and something that's going to charge the life out of you, in terms of it's got these amazing horns at the front, so it looks like it's going to do a lot of damage, but then it kind of looks cute like a cat's face, and it's an interesting one. Again, you could probably throw that out with a buffer rhino with a boar and some other stats, and maybe you've got that to be able to use that just in a normal campaign. This is the Gloomstalker. Now, wow! I mean, it's a fancy thing. This is, with its wings that are effectively slowly, as you go from front to back, almost turning into this transparent plastic. You've got bits that are solid purple, then transparent purple, and then transparent. That is really cool. I love the way that sort of blended in, and it sort of goes all the way through the miniature, not just on the wings, it's down this arching back of it. It's got a very interesting look to it. No idea how you would use that in any scenario that's maybe you could squeeze it somehow into Curse of Strahd as sort of some kind of vampiric thing. Yeah, it's cool though. You're going to want to get that into a campaign. Oh, some of these small ones do not want to get out of the plastic. Of course, when they do, they jump across the table. This is a Sea Fury, and yes, that looks a bit like it. It looks quite like a nature druid as well, to be honest. Maybe that's coming out of the water with this sort of sea folky thing, and maybe they are, maybe trying to parlay. Maybe this thing is the parlayer, this is the fighter, maybe as a bodyguard or something, and there's a bit of a story there that can be told. And let's jump to it now, because it kind of makes sense. Maybe this is what they're trying to get away from. The Swavane Basilisk. Clearly it's water-based, based on what is around it. Really like the water effect there. I have to admit, though, I think it looks a bit awful. I mean, it's growing on me the more I look at it. The yellow just seems so yellow. It's nice. I don't know how many times you would ever be able to use this. I think this is like a one and done miniature. It's a cool one. It is cool, the like sculpt with the water. I just wish it wasn't quite so yellow. I think that's where I'm landing. Nice, but yellow. So put that one away. I'll save that thing over there till last. This is Merrow Shallow Priest. And that looks like a real sort of high and mighty thing within the sea folk area. So coming with these two, can you do enough with these three? If it's a combat, maybe not, but you could potentially have these two. Maybe you pick a fight with one, but you don't quite kill him when the ambassador, the helper arrives and sort of says, we're not trying to attack, honest, we're just making way for the, you know, dignitary or something you could use this as, and they could have a conversation and then say, look, we need help killing this thing. We can reward you very kindly if you do so. Straight away, little story plot for you there that you could use with this set. And then the last thing in the second box is this Gearkeeper construct. Now, there's a few of these things that look like this in D&D already. There's ones that's one's like a triangle, one's a cube. Cannot remember their names right now. I'll put it on the screen if I can remember to do that. And I think this sort of goes with those. It's a weird constructy thing. It looks like the sort of thing that when you're playing like Skyrim, you've got when you're playing Skyrim, you've got the dwarvenish sort of mines, the Dwemer mines? Dwarven mines? And there's sort of those weird mechanical things that come at you, and it's like this could have been left by a lot of people that are no longer there if you delve deep enough into a mine or something. Or maybe it's, you know, you're going somewhere where things are a bit more future-y, and this thing, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 9, maybe 10, maybe something around that, blades coming at you, you better be good at your dodge skill. Anyway, that was set 2 out of these. So this is the set 2. I think the coolest thing about them is the water effect, but not the rest of the basilisk. The wings on this thing, this gloomstalker. But I think you're probably going to get most use out of like these smaller ones. Realistically, for non-critical role usage, I think the box 1 was better than box 2. Now let's have a look at the Udaak, because it's absolutely big and epic, and holy moly, how is that called a miniature? You know, it is huge and amazing, and let's slide that box all the way over there. Well, it's quite heavy, to be honest. Is there any tape? No, it's just locked in via plastic. Oh, I mean, it is heavy. Bloomin' hell. It's stood on a rock, and it feels like I'm picking half a boulder up, to be honest, lifting it. Straight away, amazing the fact that that's the size that it's supposed to be. What is that? That's well above large. Huge, I'm assuming, if not more. I love the look of this thing. This has got some amazing like pieces to it, in terms of you've got that face with all those eyes and teeth. You've got the hands. You've got 6 limbs, and the hands are the size of a normal humanoid. You've got this fur. You know, it's like almost like Yeti-y Bigfoot fur vibe going on, and it's like a sort of incredible, super mutated, like more limbs, more everything, Bigfoot almost. I'm assuming they must have had one hell of a fight against this thing, you know, saving the town or something from it, getting a high five. That is really cool. I love the fact that it's got that bit of terrain on it, because it makes the miniature... I like the fact it's got this bit of terrain on it, because it makes the miniature, you know, that's how big a rock is, this is how big that is. I think maybe, you know, if that's moving around terrain, does that break the immersion a little bit? Probably not too much. Your terrain is probably going to have to be pretty big to plop that down, despite that's how big technically for sizing it is, so you can get right up close to it. Wow. It's hard to tell and sort of show, obviously, how sort of weighty this is, but I would say it's a heavy piece of stuff. That is not a miniature. You know, this is the size of my hand. I can't wrap it all the way around. I'm picking it up. That is spectacular. And I think, are people from Critical Role backgrounds going to want this? I'm assuming it must be something important in the storyline. How the hell would I use this as a non-critical roller? Well, you make it the big bad thing that is coming at this town. You and the party, your adventurers, need to help this endangered town that you've come across, because it's going to smash, and with the hands this big, that is going to pick apart the stone walls. Maybe you need to get your siege equipment out to help you. Maybe part of the battle is actually defending the town's sort of guard, or the small bit of army that's turned up, that's going to be, protecting them against adds while they launch the catapults and ballistas at this thing to take it down, because you're going to need to be a very high level otherwise to even dent this furry armor. Anyway, that was 3 different boxes of Critical Role minis. Is there a favourite? Let me know, however, what is your favourite? I think obviously from set 1, it's this chap, the Nergalid. That was epic. From the set 2, I think it's probably the smaller ones. The rest are going to get less use. And from the third box, unsurprisingly, it's the Udaak itself. Wow, some great miniatures. Definitely can be used outside of Critical Role. At least some of them can be. And hopefully I've given you ideas along the way of how you could even use the Watermelon Man. Check out other unboxings. There's Warlock Tile Builds of the Month for D&D stuff. There's also board games, news, reviews and stuff on the channel, so stick around for that. And until next time, I'm Oliver East, signing out.